Hello, I'm Maruk Said, your microbiology guide. Let's explore in-depth micro techniques and uncover groundbreaking insight together on this educational journey into the fascinating realms of microbes.
Helicobacter pylori, also known as H. pylori, is a bacterium that is present in the stomachs of more than half of all people on the planet. In some cases, it can cause inflammation of the stomach lining and lead to peptic ulcers. In fact, complications from H. pylori ulcers are believed to have been the cause of death for the well-known author James Joyce. H. pylori is a gram-negative bacteria with a curved, rod-shaped structure. It has 2 to 6 flagella, which function as multiple tails at one end for movement. It is positive for urease, oxidase, and catalase. It is also a microaerophile, meaning that it requires less oxygen to survive than what is normally found in the atmosphere. If you have watched till here, don't forget to subscribe to Family of Science Lovers. Press the bell icon button so you are always updated. The cardia, fundus, body, and pylorus are the 4 sections that make up the stomach now. The antrum and the pyloric canal, which joins the pylorus to the duodenum, the first part of the small intestine, are the 2 primary components of the pylorus. All right, so mucosa, which is made up of 3 cell layers, lines the inner wall of the gastrointestinal system as a whole. The epithelium layer, which is the deepest layer, secretes and absorbs digestive enzymes and mucus. The lamina propria, which is the middle layer, contains lymphatic and blood vessels. The muscularis mucosa, a smooth muscle layer that contracts and aids in the breakdown of food, is the mucosa's outermost layer. The epithelial layer dips down below the surface of the stomach lining to generate gastric pits. And these pits are contiguous with stomach glands, below which contain diverse epithelial cell types, each secreting a variety of chemicals. For instance, mucus, a mixture of water and glycoproteins, is secreted by foveolar cells, also known as surface mucus cells, and it covers the stomach epithelial cells. Without the mucus that covers and shields the epithelial cells, the stomach and duodenal mucosa would be digested due to the abundance of digestive enzymes and hydrochloric acid in the environment. The parietal cells found within the glands, mainly in the stomach's body and fundus, release hydrochloric acid to keep the stomach's pH acidic. There are also chief cells that secrete pepsinogen to digest proteins. And then there are G cells which secrete gastrin, which has a number of effects, including stimulation of parietal cells. It is believed that an H. pylori infection can transfer from one infected person to another by fecal-oral, gastro-oral, and even oral-oral transmission. That is, either directly through saliva, vomit, or feces, or even through contaminating food and drink. Regardless of how it enters the body, H. pylori utilizes its flagella to move toward the stomach lining once it reaches the stomach. It usually moves to less acidic pH areas, such as the antrum, which contains less parietal cells. After adhering to the surface of foveolar cells with the aid of adhesin proteins, it is able to release a variety of virulence factors that aid in its growth and survival, as well as harm to the mucosa. Aureus is one of the most vital enzymes for their existence, since it changes urea in the stomach secretions into ammonia and carbon dioxide. Basic ammonia shields H. pylori from the harsh, acidic environment of the stomach by locally neutralizing the acidic gastric environment. Although H. pylori itself usually does not enter epithelial cells, some virulence factors it produces do, and these molecules severely harm epithelial cells. For instance, cytotoxin-associated gene A, or CAGA, is produced by some H. pylori strains and interferes with epithelial cell attachments, which are ordinarily responsible for shielding the underlying mucosal layers. As a result, mononuclear immune cells are drawn to the infection site, which causes an inflammatory immune response known as gastritis within the stomach lining. KJ has been connected with the development of 2 stomach malignancies in chronic infections: adenocarcinoma, which involves cells within the gastric glands, and mucosa-associated lymphoid tissue, or MALT lymphoma, which includes B cells. Certain H. pylori strains secrete an exotoxin known as vacuolating cytotoxin A, or VAC, which damages epithelial cells and makes the mucosal layers underneath them vulnerable to stomach acid. Ulcers are deep holes through the mucosa that develop when more and more cell layers die. Furthermore, inflammation causes the G cells to release gastrin, which prompts the parietal cells to release even more hydrochloric acid. Furthermore, the presence of too much acid can lead to the development of both duodenal and stomach ulcers, with the primary difference being where the gastritis occurs. Whereas corpus gastritis causes stomach ulcers, antral gastritis causes duodenal ulcers. Deep ulcers have the potential to break down blood vessels beneath them and potentially penetrate the stomach wall, namely the duodenum, creating a perforation. Lastly, and extremely infrequently, long-standing duodenal ulcers in the pyloric canal may occasionally have scarring or edema to the point where they impede the regular flow of stomach contents into the duodenum. The majority of people who have H. pylori don't exhibit any symptoms, and the bacteria may be crucial to the normal ecology of the stomach. However, a persistent infection may develop in certain people, especially in those infected with strains containing VAC and KGA. This may result in symptoms including heartburn, dyspnea, appetite loss, and pain in the area immediately above the stomach that gets worse a few hours after eating, whether or not weight loss is occurring. Blood vessel erosions caused by ulcers can result in bleeding, blood in the vomit or feces, and sudden shock if an artery close by is damaged. If a perforation occurs, air can collect under the diaphragm, irritating the phrenic nerve and sending referred pain up to the shoulder. Finally, it is believed that bacteria in chronic infections physically sequester dietary iron, devouring it before you can reach it, which can result in iron deficiency anemia. If you have watched till here, don't forget to subscribe to Family of Science Lovers. Press the bell icon button so you are always updated. An H. pylori infection can be diagnosed in a number of different ways. The bacteria or enzymes can be found via a fecal antigen test, blood titers, or a urine breath test using labeled urea. Finally, a stomach biopsy can be obtained by upper gastrointestinal endoscopy. Lastly, H. pylori may be cultured from a stomach biopsy to provide a diagnosis. Usually, H. pylori is not treated if there are no clinical symptoms. However, triple therapy, which comprises of 2 antibiotics, usually amoxicillin and clarithromycin, plus a proton pump inhibitor, is helpful if it is found in a person with a family history of gastrointestinal malignancies or when clinical signs are present. Summary. So, to recap, Helicobacter pylori is a gram-negative microaerophilic bacteria typically found in the stomach. The bacteria may be crucial to the normal ecology of the stomach, as most infected persons show no symptoms. It has been connected to the emergence of stomach cancer, MALT lymphomas, and duodenal and gastric ulcers. Acute infection might manifest as nausea or stomach discomfort, similar to acute gastritis. Proton pump inhibitors and antibiotics are used in treatment.